Good morning. It is day 16 of our van adventure. We had a great stay last night at the Boothbay Craft Brewery. Our plan for today is to drive into the city of Boothbay, walk around there a bit before we head out toward Acadia National Park to our campground there. Along the way, we will stop for lunch at the Travelin Lobster. We left Boothbay this morning brewery, and now we're in downtown. Gonna try to find the harbor. Chuck said there's a footbridge. Here we are, the footbridge, 1901. The museums in the streets. Boothbay Harbor, Maine. Huh. Oh, I just think this is so pretty. I like it. They had free parking for 2 hours on the street. There was a lot of it. This parking lot you have to pay. And we parked before we got downtown where it was really crowded because there was like 18-wheelers blocking the road, which was good. Very pretty. Must be like a ferry because this guy's down here with his dog. This is the Boothbay Harbor Inn. So they're heading out on a whale watching tour, I guess. We're back on Highway 1, Belfast. Yeah, we drove through part of the town before. I do like those signs that say red when flashing, but you can't totally trust them. This is a cool bridge. So we're here at the Travelin Lobster. I'm having the hot roll, sauteed buttered lobster served with chips and pickles. It came a flood earlier, but luckily we got out of the rain. There's the van over in the parking lot. They have a nice parking lot here, which I really like. There's food over there. Yep, they give you a number. Just put on your table. Bring the food out. There's like nobody in line now. Alright, so I'm having the hot buttered lobster roll. Chuck has the crab melt. Comes with chips and pickle. Looks good. After lunch, we continued our drive to Acadia. It was so strange because we saw lots of beautiful cities and towns and scenery, but nothing to say we were entering the park. We arrived at our campground, and there they did actually check to be sure we had a park pass as they checked us in, but it was so different than any park we'd ever been to before. Unfortunately, at the campground, we ended up parked next to a family, and the kids were incredibly loud. Sounded like they were yelling inside of our van. So we headed out for a drive to do a small loop around part of the park to see what we could find. So we drove from our campground spot over to Seal Cove because I was hoping to see some seals, but I don't see anything. And the tide is uber low, so we saw what could have been some really pretty views if the tide was higher. The fog's starting to roll in. The entrance to the Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse, but cars only, no vans, trailers or RVs, and no parking signs all over the place. So we can't go see it, which is kind of disappointing. It's pretty and woodsy. Just not much to see on the water. Maybe because it's low tide. We were super excited for this park, but we're finding it to be a bit disappointing to travel in the van. It's very crowded. Of course, it's probably the worst time of the year for tourism here. And it doesn't do well with oversized vehicles because the roads are narrow. Some are one way. There's at least one or two bridges that have height clearances. One of them for sure we do not fit under. And we couldn't go to see the lighthouse yesterday because there were no vans allowed. One of the main things we wanted to do in the park is see Cadillac Mountain. And we are not allowed to go there in the van, even if we could get a permit, which is required to if you're in a car. So anyway, we're going to do the best we can today. Our goal is to hike Cadillac Mountain, which is going to be a very long hike for us because we are not big hikers. It rained pretty much all day yesterday. There's a trail, it's the ocean trail. So this is 11:08. And we made it! Yay! The ranger said go through the middle, you'll get a little more clearance. After driving the Park Loop Road and making a detour to avoid a low bridge that we did not fit under, we finally made it to the Black Woods Campground entrance, which is where this Cadillac South Trail begins. Because Acadia is so crowded, they allow you to park on the side of the road in a number of places. We were lucky and able to find a place to park the van not too far from the entrance to the South Trail. The trail is described as a long, sometimes strenuous hike up Acadia's tallest peak, which offers excellent panoramic views of the ocean and the mountains. It's a 7.4-mile hike, estimated to be 4.75 hours, strenuous, and 1,530 feet in elevation, so this was going to be a difficult hike for Chuck and I. Here we are at the top of Cadillac Mountain. We hiked up 3.5 miles, so we're only halfway. We have to go back down, but I'm really proud of us. You can see we came up from the mountain over there. Thankfully, we were able to go to the restroom at the top before we headed back down the mountain. We were super tired, but really happy to have accomplished our goal, and it was a beautiful view. Now it was time to get back to the van and drive into Bar Harbor to treat ourselves. Here we are, Bar Harbor. Tons and tons and tons of people everywhere. Insane. They have cider and beer here. So I got the Fat Apple, which is local Maine apples and unfermented white wine, I think he said. Which beer did you get?
Maine Coast.
Maine Coast. We went to Atlantic Brewery, but they didn't have any ciders, so we came here instead. So we went to the Fogtown Brewery Company. It's really good. Oh look, there's the Finback Ale House. We missed that place. This guy told us Getty's has the best burger. Chuck said it was a popular place. They have a moose on this. They have a moose on the roof. That's kind of cool. Look how low the tide is. That is insane.
Oh, that's the nature.
Lots of kayaks, boats. Mega yacht out there. I'll get a picture with my camera. And this inn, Bar Harbor Inn, looks beautiful. Right here next to the park. Alright, we're heading to Side Street Cafe. Voted to have the best burgers. Leanne said she had a good lobster roll here, but I think we're kind of lobster rolled out. Side Street Cafe did not work out because they don't have any power in their kitchen. There's power in part of the restaurant, but not the whole restaurant. So they called the power company, but they don't know when it's going to be fixed, so they are closed until further notice. So we're going to head back to Getty's, which is what a guy told us walking over here that comes from Pennsylvania. Says they have really good burgers. So we're just going to go for a burger and head to Getty's, which we just walked by and we're tired of walking, so. Alright, so no power here. at Getty's. So they can't seat anybody. This is not good. We're starving.
You say the bar?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, she's got a bunch of tables right now.
We can get food, right?
The seat in the middle, I just gotta wipe it off.
Can we order food?
Yeah, full service at the
Power?
bar.
Okay. All right. Okay, this is good. We finally found a place that has power that can cook food. Oh my gosh, I think we got lucky. Look how awesome this looks. I got the cowboy, which is onion, bacon, cheddar, and a smash burger. And Chuck got the regular smash burger.
Oh, it's got the Big Mac sauce on it.
Oh, Big Mac sauce with pickles, it looked like. But this is the only place that's open with food, so they have like 2 people working and it is like packed. Alright, so our food was fabulous. I don't think we could have gotten any luckier or any better with our food. I mean, the waffle fries were better than what Chick-fil-A has. I mean, they're extra crispy. And the smash burgers were just awesome. Mine had a blueberry sauce and it was really good. But you'll see all these stores, they're all out of power. A lot of people just shut down because they said, yeah. A lot of people shut down and just put signs and said no power with sad faces. But everything on this whole street is out of power. So, shut down. I feel bad because it's a Tuesday night. Where we were, they called in a bunch of people, so our poor bartender, I mean, he kicked butt. Maddie is his name. I would go back. I would recommend that place. It was really good. This is kind of a cool place. We're walking back to the van. The Bar Harbor Grand. Your home away from home. Alright, so we're walking back to the van. And here's a Sunoco diesel. $5.99.9. Almost $6. Pretty expensive. And you'll see here it says RV parking ahead on the right. What we learned is if you park in those spots, then they're meter parking. We parked in a lot, which we were told was free, so hopefully it's free. We don't have a ticket. Okay, so parking RV only. RV parking here is between the signs, but there is metered parking. You'll see a meter, which we didn't see at first, but you have to pay. There was just no spots. Oh no, you hit the pole. Alright, so then we have an RV blocking the road. Looks like he ran over and crashed into a pole. So we definitely want to go out of here the other way if we can. There's got to be a way to go the other way. Otherwise we're never getting out of here because we're in the lot up here on the right. There he goes! There goes the deer! You see him? He's running. He just crossed the road.
He's a big boy.
He is big. Wow, look at him. He's wagging his tail. He looks like a happy deer. Ha! That's awesome. We're on the way back from dinner. We're so stinking tired. That is so stinking cool.
They're all right here too.
They are all right here. Oh my gosh. Look at this. They're just eating away. You got little tails wagging. How cute. Here's our camping spot in Acadia. We have a spot for our van. And then we've got the picnic table area over here with a pit for making a fire. Which, it was in the 60s last night. Pretty chilly. But it was nice. It's been, the bathrooms are just like right there, so it's not a really long walk. They don't have showers, which we don't need, but I don't know what everybody else is doing for showers. And but they're clean. They're clean to go to the bathroom. We have a pretty loud family behind us, so it's been better since the first day. We kind of stayed out late last night. There are a couple of vans. There's a Rebel over a couple of doors down, and then there's a Ford Transit, but for the most part it's travel trailers. Our plan for today is to fill up our water tanks before we leave the campground. then check out a few spots in the park that we haven't seen yet, go to lunch at Tracy's Seafood, and then after that we will explore Schoodic Point, which is another part of Acadia National Park in a different island. After that, we are going to drive through Bangor, Maine, and get to our boondocker spot in Newport, Maine. Echo Lake Beach. It looks pretty. It's like 10:30. It's not uber crowded. It's pretty. Oh, so we found this, the Canada Cliffs Trail. The top of the beach cliff is 1 mile. So 2 miles round trip. But we're not going to do that today because we're still worn out from yesterday. Tracy Seafood. And there's the lobster pots behind Tracy's Fresh Lobster. And there's the bathroom. It's a porta potty. So here we go, our lobster rolls. It's okay. Probably my least favorite of everyone I've had. Is this the turn in for that? Fraser Point? Maybe. Let's try it. So here's the fish they have here. American shad, Atlantic sturgeon, Atlantic salmon, trout, American eel, alewife, blueback herring, Atlantic menhaden, trout, and then of course bass. Ooh, there's a bee in my hair. Alright, we're gonna head down to the end. It's a lot less crowded over on this side. I like it a lot better than the side we were on, which was like uber crowded. Very pretty. Chuck's already at the end. Ooh, and they have that kelp stuff in the water here. Huge houses, which probably don't show up in the videos because they're so far away. But this is beautiful. There's like fish jumping over here on the right, like crazy. I'll have to see when we get down here if the guys know what that is. So what are the jumping fish?
Get off, Nick.
They say polyps.
Polyps? Oh, that wasn't on the sign up there.
All the darkened waters fish.
Got off?
Really? Wow. Ooh, I wish somebody would catch this one.
My fish is head.
Beautiful. Wow, there's a big old house over there. It seems like a seal would be here on the rocks somewhere. Walking the dog. Very pretty. No seals. Must not be seal season because we were at that seal cove. But anyway, apparently there's no parking on the road here in Schoodic. So I got lucky and got a parking spot. It's a lot less crowded over here, but it's still enough people to take up the parking spots. Woo, look at that. Beautiful. It looks like there's lava flow in between the cracks, which is pretty cool. So this was a good little stop. It's Maine Coast Smokehouse. We ended up buying some cold salmon and scallops. We got smoked scallops. Those were pretty dang good too. After a long day, we arrived at our Boondockers welcome spot in Newport, Maine. There was also another guest who was also staying in her RV on the property. After dinner, they wanted to take us all for a boat ride. We had an awesome time out on the lake, and it was a beautiful sunset for a perfect way to end the day. We are probably one of the few people who left Acadia National Park disappointed. I think we had really high expectations and probably set the bar too high because so many people talked about how great this park was, and we left underwhelmed. And I think there's some reasons for that. We knew the park was going to be crowded because the weather in the Northeast obviously has a very limited nice season, but it was way more crowded than what we expected in the park. An oversized van or an RV just doesn't seem to be well suited for this park. If we had been able to drive to Cadillac Mountain, then I know we would not have hiked it. And that has its advantage in that I'm very proud of us for having hiked it, but it has the disadvantage in that we didn't get to enjoy some of the smaller hikes in the park, and I think we would have probably enjoyed those much more. I think what we've learned is that we have bad luck and we end up next to families that are very loud, and then we don't really enjoy the tranquility of the outdoors. Also, when we talk about the campground experience, you have to talk about costs. This was pretty far into our trip to Maine in the van, and so far we had only stayed at one other place that we had to pay for. So the campground we had to pay for at the park, so that was something that we just didn't feel we got our money's worth out of. In the next video, we leave Maine and start on our return trip to Florida. Lots more adventure to come, including hitting some of the additional big name breweries that Chuck is looking forward to.